Hello and welcome everybody to the next installment in the, well, now it's kind of the third book of Daughter of Alba. We are now in a completely different world because reasons. The gods have listened and they have taken away your burden and you get a fresh start. But at least you kept all your memories, and Siobhan is still there, so you're not on your own. It's not a complete reset. And you are now in a small village near a swamp. What's happened is that... Where are my notes? What's happened is that you have helped or you're in the process of helping a woman who has been accused of killing her stepson, and the village people believe that because he's vanished, that she has killed him because it's turned out that her husband, his father, has written her out of his will. And that as soon as the boy comes of age or has his own family, he will inherit everything. So if she's going to kill him, now is a good time because he's still underage. And she also has had a boyfriend for several months now, which is kind of okay because she has been a widow for a good while. So it's not like this is not adultery or anything. And you have investigated because you have met her cousin.
Yep.
And basically the problem is that you come to her place and it's been turned inside out, upside down, but no valuables have been taken because you have found a strong box with money in it. And you have found claw marks outside the boy's room. And it could be that the boy was taken. And you have decided to investigate the swamp to see and it's called the Gasping Swamp. And you have decided that you're going to go in there and see, can you find the boy?
Yeah, because we also found like a sphere thingy.
And it's magical.
And it's magical, and the poor Tilda was her name, wasn't it? Yeah, Tilda. Is Tilda the one that traveled with us, or is Tilda the poor lady that is...
Yeah, Tilda, the miller's daughter, traveled with you. Excuse me, the lady that is in custody is Callista.
Where did I write her name? I wrote her name down. I just don't know where.
Callista Skinner.
Guys, do proper notes there. And there is her name. Because the only thing I can always see is Tilda. The miller's daughter. So Callista told us that her husband and his former wife before her seem to have made like a pact with someone to finally get a child, basically, and that's the boy we know that is missing, which kind of leans into maybe the witch is just claiming what was meant for her anyhow. And we suspect the sphere that we've seen was probably for scrying to see what's happening and keeping literally an eye on the boy. So.
And you have actually tried to intimidate anyone or someone who is watching through that by really telling them, I'm going to come for you. And then you tried to destroy it.
Yeah, which did not really work that well.
Yeah, so, but you've got it with you and it's covered.
It's covered, and the Bürgermeister was so nice to organize a boat for us. So after some sleep, we will in the morning leave as early as possible via boat into the swamp and see if we can find the boy, because finding the boy would be the only way, honestly, to show the village that Callista is innocent.
Mhm.
And
So
shouldn't
you
be burned, lynched, or whatever they're planning with her.
Yeah, having said this, the Bürgermeister is basically out of his depth, but he's a good person, and he's just been telling people that, you know, they can't just kill somebody because they feel like it, but there has to be due process.
We have 3 days, right? They had like a
minimum.
3 days minimum.
Yeah, minimum. First of all, there has to be a trial. Then she has to be convicted, and then after that, it's at least 3 days before any execution can take place. And yeah, you've got your boat. So basically, you have stabled the horses at the farm.
Yeah. Because
And
they should not follow us into the swamp for sure.
no, and they would also not fit in the boat because the boats are really like rowing boats, or you know, like the ones that you basically punt. And also you have decided to, because Callista, Tilda has stayed in town to keep Callista company. So you're alone in the farmhouse, but you've decided to basically not, kind of lock yourselves in more or less. So you've basically moved a bedstead into the main room and have closed all of the doors, so that it's basically just you in the one room.
Yeah.
Just in case somebody comes back and tries to claw their way in again. So the next morning you wake up.
Yep.
And you have provisions. The farmhouse is stocked, and you set off. Now, basically, you have all of your equipment. You've got your weapons. You've got your armor.
But what else we have for travel, we would leave in the farmstead.
And it's a swamp, so it's kind of dreary. It's early in the morning, so there's also mist rising. And you can see the sun slowly rising, and you can see the swamp waking up. So there is now the frogs rippeting again. There is a couple of heron-like and stork-like birds stalking their prey, as it were, in the water. And the water is really murky. You can't really see anything. Can't see to the ground. But every so often you hear like a... and you see kind of like those concentric circles. Maybe something has stuck up its head and looked at you and then vanished again.
As long as they're vanishing again, Aisling is fine with that. Although she will also tell Siobhan that both need to keep eyes and ears open, because we have no idea what kind of things are living in this land, and in a swamp for sure. So just to be very careful.
Okay, then roll Wahrnehmung.
Let's see. No. Well, I rolled, but not very successful. I rolled a 5. That's not
Okay, so who's actually steering the boat?
I think Aisling would.
Okay, then give me a
that.
check on Bootfahren.
No, just missed it. I have a 19.
Okay, but it's not a 1. Okay,
No,
yeah,
no,
that's
it's a
fine.
19,
That's
so-
fine. That's fine.
so-
Okay, so it's. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's not very hard because there is no draft. There is no current. It's just more. You're trying not, and it's quite difficult to ram things because it's an open swamp. But it's more like how fast do you actually make your way, and it's kind of a little bit difficult in terms of it's a movement and something that you're simply not used to. Rowing is not something that you do a lot, and basically she's sitting at the stern and she's looking and she's kind of like maybe a little bit to the left. No, your left, not my left.
It takes a little to adjust.
It takes a little to adjust.
I haven't been in a boat in a long time, I suspect, because on the travels in the latest there were no boats involved.
No.
So.
And also, it's one of the things where the two of you have never tried to coordinate. So you've never really tried to do this together. So it's but you do get the hang of it because you're both experienced travelers, and it's every so often there are these trees that basically stand on those clumps of earth, and they basically overhang parts of the moor, and there is like those vine-like those vines hanging down. So every so often, they sweep over you, and you have to basically move to the side or maybe take them in the face. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's maybe a little bit unpleasant.
And if we go through a tree like that, we would go slowly, so it's not hurting.
And so you keep going, and after a while, Siobhan says, actually, I mean, I don't know what the swamp is like, but it looks like that there is land over there.
I think Aisling would have also tried just along the trees to see a little bit where the sun is, at least to make sure that we are not going in circles but in one direction. Yep. We should carefully approach before we leave the boat, see if we can see anything on land.
Okay, so let's see. Wahrnehmung. Oh.
Ooh, 21, success.
25, success. You both notice something, and it looks like it's odd. It looks like stick figures, but then you notice that they're moving, and it's actually, as you approach, you can see that it's skeletons of animals, but it's more like somebody has put them together, like randomly. So it's not like this is an animal that you would have ever seen. It's skeletal, but it's also like, okay, so those are, it's got the size of a badger, but it's definitely got the claws of a bear. So it's like it's been glued together.
Moving on their own, or are they like moving in the wind, in the
No,
breeze?
they are moving. They are basically walking along the shore. And you would say that they've seen you because they seem to be they are following you.
Well, we're still in a boat, so well, that does not look natural.
No.
Aisling would still curiously try. She would take a little bit of her food, and she would like to throw it over to one of the animals to see if they are hungry at food. And see what they do.
So you throw food at them?
Yep.
Okay.
Because animals usually would jump on it, but since they're skeletal, just to be curious.
They ignore the food, and basically Siobhan closes her eyes, and she's basically focusing inward. And she turns into Captain Obvious as she states, they're magical.
Really?
Hey.
Well, it's calming to know that it's magical, because if that would be natural, we would be in a land that is kind of spooky. But this also means that whoever is around here seem to dabble in things like, I don't know, necromancy or something like that.
That's not good.
But it could be those creatures that left the weird claw marks, because they are a mix and match. That would explain the weird combination of claws that we found.
Yep.
Which also means they can travel through the swamp. Why are they not coming closer? Aisling would stop the boat, but in like a bit of a distance, and would just curiously watch the creatures.
They basically stop, they sit down on their hind legs or haunches and watch you. Mm-hmm.
I think we're at the right place. I'm just not sure if we want to land here.
I don't know.
They will follow us, I suspect. Let's row a little bit further along the land and see if they follow or not.
They do.
Aisling would turn around and row back to roughly where they saw the land and got closer.
Mm-hmm.
Should we be adventurous and try to set foot and see what happens?
They don't seem hostile.
Not really. I go first.
All right. She takes out her sickle.
Aisling will take out. Does she have a shield? I'm
No.
always asking us just to.
No, you've never had a
Yeah.
shield. She has the shield, and she's
Yeah.
also putting this one.
Oh,
up.
because I need 2 hands for my sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take my sword in my hand, obviously, and then we would slowly try to land, basically, and see what happens when the boat touches the land. Aisling at the moment is at the moment, I don't think she would have a sword. At the moment, she would still have like the paddle, and just that in case they can row back, in case it's just touch point and the things try to jump on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be an awkward few seconds of waiting when the boat touches like the shore, just waiting to see what the things are doing.
Mm-hmm. They basically watch you. They, you land, but they don't come closer than you would say maybe 2 meters. They basically just sit there and watch you.
Aisling would put the paddles down in the boat, and she would. She will get off the boat slowly, carefully, sword in one hand, and I guess like a rope that is tied to the boat in the other, because we need to tie the boat somewhere that's not drifting off.
You can even pull it ashore a little. It's possible.
Yeah, she would do that, but she would still try to
Yeah.
secure it, but always with an eye on the. I don't even want to call them animals. The beasts, the things.
The things
still
keep watching
watching?
you.
At least not immediate hostility.
No.
Should we just ask them if they can bring us to their master? Which I highly suspect is the witch. If there is a pact, I would like to know, because then it's a question if we can find a way to get the boy without further escalation. I'm not very keen on fighting a witch. At least our witches can turn things into frogs and things like that. I don't want to be a frog.
You would look cute.
No, I would be one of the ugly ones. The big ones, for sure. With one eye.
You would be one of the really lovely green ones, the little ones, you know, the ones that we used to play with as kids.
No, I would be probably a toad and not a frog. I would be a toad. I would be one of the loud, obnoxious ones. Ribbit.
Why? Why do you think so?
I am rather tall
Yes.
and not the handsomest with all the scars, missing eye, and you are the cute one. You will be the cute frog.
Will you
Let's just
give
hope we
over?
are not turning into a frog.
I
Aisling-
will. I'll promise you. Even if you turn into the ugliest toad that the gods have ever seen, I will keep you by my side.
Dear. Aisling would turn around to the creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind show us the way to your master? We are here to talk.
They look at you, but they don't react at all.
Maybe you try, you know, the language? They probably don't even understand me because
She speaks to them in Altoquin. They look at her, so they obviously really pay attention, but they're not moving either. They're just sitting there looking at her now.
Oh well. They will follow us probably anyhow. That way?
Okay.
Like inwards in the land or island. What Aisling suspects, it's more like an island probably.
You walk.
Mm-hmm.
They do follow,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really wooded. And then but it's kind of like the swamp type of forest. It's not really a forest. It's like this type of wood that
Yeah.
grows there. And then you come to a house.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a witch's hut. It's more like a house. It's built from really sturdy planks. So it's like a really big log cabin with windows and a door. And the door is closed and so are the windows.
Aisling would stop and like scan the surrounding a little bit to see if she can see anyone moving outside the house or inside the house. Like
Then roll for animal.
behind a window or something like that. 22. Success.
You don't see anyone moving, but you do see that there are claw marks outside the door.
That would be against the idea that those things brought the boy here. Should we call out Siobhan and just see?
Sure.
Hello, good day. Anybody home?
If there is a reply, it's so faint that you can't hear it. It's very silent.
Let's carefully walk towards the house and see. The creatures are still around us.
They're not around you, they're following you.
Okay, so they're behind us. Aisling would very carefully move closer to the house, but she would scan left and right. Just because her gut feeling is not sure if this is a trap.
You can't see anything, and you also don't hear anything. Do you keep approaching?
Yeah, I keep approaching with the idea to knock at the door.
What you notice at some point that you keep walking, but the creatures seem to be hitting an invisible barrier that they cannot cross. They just stand there. And they're definitely eyeing you, and they're definitely eyeing the house, but they can't seem to move any further.
That's interesting. Definitely some kind of magic. And Aisling would knock at the door.
You knock at the door.
And listen for any kind of movement.
The door, as you knock, opens a little bit. It swings inward. But only a little. I mean, it's not like it's opening up completely.
So it feels like with the knocking motion we pushed it.
Yeah.
Well, that's never a good sign. Aisling will carefully, properly with the sword, will push the door open and will peek inside.
You see a really large house. It's quite well turned out. Nice furniture. Simple but well kept. You know, you see lots of carvings of animals on the rafters and on the wood beams. You see lots of herbs hanging from the rafters. There's a carpet on the floor. There's a fireplace which is empty and cold. And you also see someone lying on the floor. And they are basically kind of raising their head a little, and then it just falls back onto the ground.
Lying on the floor, male, female,
It's a woman.
older, younger. So hair color basically.
Her hair is red,
Okay.
cliche. She's maybe 30. Very beautiful. Your typical hag, you know, good looking, ageless, sexy, you know. And she's just lying there, and you can also see that she has a really bad gash from one shoulder blade down across her rib cage to the right side of her abdomen, and it's been bleeding.
Aisling would have a look around and look at Siobhan. Ask her if they are still there.
Siobhan says the words, and the woman just basically ever so slightly shakes her head, and then she gives a very loud moan.
I guess help is needed if she is then able to tell us where the boy is. And Aisling would go closer and would still... Yeah, probably she would ask Siobhan if she wants to, like, tend to the wounds, because that's more Siobhan's area of expertise. And Aisling would go on searching through the rest of the house. Did you fail? 1?
She
The
does.
gods give and the gods take.
And she then just looks at you and shakes her head, and she says, "There's nothing I can do."
But she's still breathing.
This was her last. She's lost too much blood.
Is she out and really dead, or is she still hanging on?
She's dead.
Stay here. I will search the house and see. Or we should honestly, let's search the house together and see if we can find any traces of the boy, or what on earth happened here.
I'm going to close the door though. And she closes the door, and she puts kind of like a bolt to bolt it shut And
The house has windows, I suspect, right? So
yeah.
Aisling would watch if the barrier now disappeared and the creatures can get closer.
Nope.
Okay. I think Aisling, or probably Siobhan as well, would look for like a blanket or anything that we can cover
Yeah.
the body with. And then we search the house bit by bit.
Yeah. You search the house. Then roll Wahrnehmung. Okay, so basically you find all kinds of implements that one would use to make potions and that kind of thing. You find books in a language that neither of you understand.
Okay. So the witch feeling definitely hardens.
Let me just check. Oh no, maybe she can read it. Oh. So these are books that describe magical rituals, none of which are accessible to Siobhan because she's not magical in that she gets her power from somewhere else.
But she understands generally that this is magical in a different way. Okay.
And she says, "Do you want me to call her back? Like I did with your father?"
Let's search. Does it have a timer or can we search? I would like to search the house or the outside once at least before we do anything. Because I don't feel good you doing that. So Aisling would step outside and probably Siobhan will follow, and we would circle the house just to see what we can find outside.
What you notice is that there seems to have been an assault on that house by these claw-bearing creatures that are still waiting at the perimeter, probably, because there are also claw marks on windows and walls.
Why did they attack this and now they're so peaceful?
Probably because they try to get her, but if they can't, then they don't rage. Maybe it's that they have this goal.
Well, they were not at the farm to get her. They were at the farm to get the boy. What is if they were here for the boy as well and got him? When they have what they want.
Maybe they didn't want the boy. Well, maybe they didn't come here to get the boy. That's what I meant.
Does it look like they made it inside or just like they tried to get inside? Because with the farm, it definitely looked like they got inside.
You can't find traces of them inside, but what you do see is that as you look closer on the swampy ground before the hut, to somewhere to the side, you find blood. So it could be that they attacked her and she made it somehow inside
to stay safe.
And then they assaulted the house, and then maybe she was able to cast some form of ritual to build the barrier, which pushed them back.
Where the heck is the kid?
I think we need to talk to her.
What can I do to help?
Sit with me.
She will follow exactly the instructions of Siobhan, and I guess we will do that inside the house. So Aisling would barricade the door and make sure that everything is closed up, just in case the creatures get funny ideas.
Sorry?
Just, I'm just looking for the name of the boy.
Carl.
Okay. No. I think we never, or I didn't write it down. Okay.
You see that she sits down.
Mm-hmm.
And she does this, find a sound to concentrate on. And then she looks at you again after an hour and she says, I have rested and I've refreshed. I can now try and summon her ghost.
Then let's do that.
And she does.
Beforehand, Aisling would talk to Siobhan what the main question would be, because that was on a limited time, if I remember correctly. No?
No, she has to dismiss them.
Okay. But main question is what happened and where's the boy? I think that's the main two questions.
Suddenly the room grows really dark.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the darkness materializes the astral body of the woman that is dead at your feet, essentially. And she looks at you both and she says, I don't know you.
Does she speak our language then?
You don't know what she speaks because you just understand what she's saying.
Okay. I would leave it to Siobhan to talk.
No, you don't know us. This is Aisling, and I'm Siobhan. We came here to talk to you. What is your name? My name was Anthea. Why have you come and talk to me? What do you want to know? Siobhan turns to you and she says, can you give me the scrying implement, please?
Sure. Aisling will pull it out of her bag and will hand it over to Siobhan.
Is this yours? And she shows this to the ghost. And the ghost looks at it for a while and says, yes. I placed it with my son to watch over him. But alas, it didn't really avail me. He was taken. I was too late.
Aisling would lean carefully to Siobhan. Can I also ask a question, or is it just you?
You can talk to her, it's not a problem. And the ghost actually looks at you.
A lot of questions, but what or who took the boy? And was here obvious as well?
Creatures that shouldn't be.
Yeah, they're outside, but why are they interested in the kid?
Sibling rivalry. I've got another son. I had another son.
Died?
To me, yes. He inherited some of my power. But my youngest was always the greater. And I noticed that my older son became jealous, and so when there was an opportunity, I gave him up. I thought he would be safe and he would be happy. He was happy. But little did I know that my older son and his heart would be destroyed by jealousy. I never saw my younger son again. I never went once to visit. I just scryed on him. The weakness of a mother, I guess. But I devoted all my time to my older son. I tried to help him develop as far as he could. But it wasn't enough. He started to dabble in arts that I despise. And then he realized that there was something missing. The spark of life, which I have had, and which my younger son has as well. My older son can make dead things walk. My younger son and I, we can give life. He can't.
What's the name of your son, the older one?
Oberon.
Do you think he killed his brother? Or is there a chance the boy is still alive?
He will eventually. He has to, if he wants his power. But I think it's going to take a while until he understands what he needs to do.
That gives us time to find the boy.
Yes.
Nobody knew that it's not the farmer's boy.
What would it have helped anyone if they knew the truth? These two wanted a child so badly, and I knew that they were going to be the best parents.
Oh,
He would have it all. He would have a loving family. He would have a life. And he was too young to remember me. It was only a year. I thought I did what was right.
Well, your younger one definitely grew up in a happy family surrounding. You had the right idea there.
His parents really loved him.
Yes.
They really, really did.
Even his stepmother loves him a lot, and now she will die.
What? Why?
The village thinks she killed her.
She didn't.
We know
She would
that.
never have touched him.
We know that. Her family knows that, at least the part that is there. We just need to find
You
the
have
boy.
to, whatever you do, even if you don't find my son, you have to save her. She has nothing to do with any of this. She is an innocent.
We know that. The goal is to find your son and rescue him, because he deserves a good life.
then you would have to confront my older son. But I'm warning you, he's dangerous. He managed to kill me. I didn't think it would come to this.
Do you have any guidelines, anything that might help us with the old one?
I can help you against his creatures.
That would be something. Do you have a rough idea where we can find him?
Bring me one of their bones, and I will guide you through a ritual. This will give you glyphs of warding. But I need a bone that he has infused with his magic.
Give me a second. Oh, rather, a little bit more. And Aisling would carefully get up. She would just put her hand on Siobhan's shoulder. Let me grab one of the toys.
You can't go there alone.
I just need one.
Aisling, they might be dangerous. They are dangerous. And she points to the dead body on the floor.
Well, but I can catch things, and it seems like they're not able to enter here at the moment.
I'm telling you, if you get back to me injured, there will be hell to pay.
About with that.
Okay.
And Aisling will, first of all, look outside through the window before she opens the door, just to see if the creatures are still there.
They're sitting there on their haunches, like, actually now it looks like this is kind of like a Paw Patrol kind of thing. They're just sitting there watching. They're not doing anything. They don't even look hostile. They're just sitting there.
And Aisling would step outside, but she would close the door behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And she would slowly walk towards the creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And see if they stay put or if they move back. And she would have a closer look at what she can see now that they aren't moving around that much. They're sitting there waiting. Are the limbs or the bones, are they like connected? Because her main idea is, what if I just pull a leg and go back? I just need one bone.
There is some kind of ligaments between them, but it's kind of, now that you're close, because they're not moving away, now that you're really paying attention, you can see that it's kind of like a little bit blue. It's almost like it's glowing a little bit.
Okay. I hope this will not hurt too much. She would try to get close to the next one, basically, that is there. Maybe not the biggest version of it.
They're all not really that, I mean, they're like badger sized, but having said this, badgers are massive creatures in and of themselves, but they're like wolverines from size. And they have massive teeth.
She would slowly pull her sword. She will try not to be like aggressive motion, but she will pull her sword and keep an eye on the creatures clearly and see what they do.
They don't even pay that much attention to you. They're more focusing on the door.
Then Aisling will try to swing the sword. I'm just dabbling on what part she will try to cut off. She will try to cut off basically a leg to grab the bone and retreat. That would be her idea and motion. So in her head she's like, chop, grab, backwards, and see what happens.
Okay, so you
if they
swing.
come, run. Try to barricade yourself.
Okay. You swing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a problem. You hit. You hear a yelp.
Mm-hmm.
Then the creature keels over.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously in pain. And you can grab the bone. The other ones look at you kind of startled. They didn't see that coming.
Oh, she will grab the bone. She will go backwards, basically, and she will be, I'm very sorry. I know you're also just part of all this misery, but we need this. And she will slowly go backwards towards the house and keep an eye on the creatures.
You walk back, you retreat. They still can't make it, but interestingly enough, again, the others don't really pay attention to their fallen comrade at all. They keep staring at the door.
Aisling will open the door, slip inside, and close the door again. We have a bone, and I can get rid of all of them. They're focused on the house, not on me. That was too easy.
Yes, they have been given the task of killing me. They don't know that I'm dead.
Should I do a little bit of cleanup out there? A few less wouldn't be bad. They are not natural. But they seem to have feelings, because the one I chopped the leg off was definitely in pain.
They're not natural, but now they are.
Then we leave them. They don't care about us at the moment, so let's leave it with that. But here, the bone.
You see that she basically raises her hands. I cannot touch anything.
Should she?
And she basically makes a motion, and her hand goes through the bone. Siobhan takes the bone and says, all right, tell me what to do. And the two of them consult one of the books, which we have established she is able to read. And then Anthea turns to you and she says, this is going to take a while. Why don't you wait and rest up?
Aisling would sit at a window and look outside. She's still pondering the idea of doing a little bit of cleanup.
The sun is creeping over the horizon, and it's getting evening. The two of them are hard at work, it seems. And then in the end, Siobhan takes the bone and submerges it in a pot. It's a cauldron, you know? She submerges it in some kind of liquid. And it comes out again. It has changed color. It is now completely green.
Okay.
And then she says, now it's your turn. You need to do some carving. I know how you love that. You're the one with the artistic stroke.
Aisling will pull out her carving knife, because yes, she has a carving knife, and
she does. And they basically, she shows you in the book. She shows you a page, and there are two symbols, and she says, "Please carve these."
Aisling will very carefully and very detailed follow the drawing and carve it into the bones. Should I roll anything for that?
No, I actually don't think you need to, because
we're not on time pressure. Yeah, and we're
and
not
also
on
this
time
is
pressure.
something that we established long ago, that this is something that you do in your spare time.
Yeah.
So they are not complex runes. They are quite, and you don't really have to carve the bone into that rune. You just have to inscribe it, as it were. So, but you're doing a good job anyway. And take your time, and then it's done. And then Anthea looks at it and she says, "Yes, it is done. I suggest you wait till the morning. I will tell you where you need to go." take your boat and steer towards the rising sun. No, sorry, steer towards the setting sun. You will come to another island, but it's going to be very different. It's going to take you about a day, and you will come to a barren wasteland island. It used to be a temple to a titan named Gaia. The titans died a long time ago, and in this temple of hers is now a geyser, very hot. You will have to watch it to ensure that you don't get scalded by the water, but it's very regular. It's inhospitable. That's where my son lives. Possibly because it's inhospitable. It's the opposite of life. Nothing lives there except him. And possibly my other son now. But whatever you do, please remember they're both my children.
Aisling will just nod. We're sorry that we are too late, or we were too late to save you.
Such is life.
Thank you for your help.
May the gods be with you.
Aisling will smile. They are.
And then she looks at Siobhan and she says, "Please set me free." And Siobhan dismisses the ghost and the ghost leaves.
Well, we camp here for the night. You need rest before we move on.
That was tough.
As always, completely different than what we initially thought. Which again points to how you do it. Ask first, then punch.
Yeah, sometimes I think that there are some things that I tend to do that you might want to copy. Not many, but maybe that one. And my omelette.
I will never be able to copy that completely. I can maybe get close, but not like that. Still tempted to go outside and get rid of the things.
Why inflict pain when you don't have to?
If they all turn on us, we are doomed. They are dangerous.
Then let me try my way first.
Okay.
She gets up, she steps outside.
Aisling will follow with a few steps behind, and she will close the door behind her just to make sure that the creatures cannot look inside. And we would leave some light inside the house, just that it really looks like someone is through there.
She walks towards the creatures. She spreads out her arms. She looks up and she says, "Vanna, I implore you to take away the evil that has been instilled in these bones." And for a split second it's almost like she has this aura again. and the bones just collapse into little heaps. Well, not little, into heaps.
Mm-hmm. Remind me not to fight with you.
Why? What?
You are getting stronger and stronger.
You're not a bag of bones.
Well, technically, we're all bags of bones.
Don't you get technical on me, Missy.
Thank you. I think this is a much better way than cutting them into pieces.
I cannot do this a lot.
Well, at least now we have a little bit of clearness.
And we have the glyphs of warding.
Let's get some sleep, and tomorrow morning we move on.
Mm-hmm. I'll take first watch.
Okay. We go back inside, barricade the door, because we have no idea if he's sending more. He will come himself. We will never know. We will see.
Honestly, if that's what he can do, and she looks at the bones, then I don't really want to see him.
No, I don't. But also at the same time, my words are he's a freaking coward, because he was not man enough to look his mother in the face and kill her as he wanted to. He sent those poor creatures. Shows he's not much of a character. That's the weakness we need to try to poke and get. Although, if we have to prioritize, it's clear which boy gets the prioritization.
Yes. And I'm afraid that he may actually put up a fight. The older brother. And I'm not able to do this on him unless he is a construct.
I highly suspect he's not.
That's what I think too.
I will take care of the boy. You will take care to get the other boy out. We will see how the situation is. I'm quite sure whoever was in the temple. Did she say Gaia? I highly doubt she would support the ways that are there now.
But you have to promise me one thing. You have to be careful.
Yes. We both will be. Because something that can create that, and she will point outside, is highly dangerous. The good thing is he has no idea what is coming for him. Because
something
he's never
equally
met
as dangerous
people like us. Because we're new to this land.
That is
and
true.
We've seen things he would he would enjoy to see. Maybe he wants my tattoo. That would be something.
Come on.
No, that would be a bad combination. Let's get some sleep. And Aisling would just look for a corner, put a blanket down, and just curl up, probably near the fire.
Yeah. So she takes first watch. She wakes you. It's your turn. And she goes to sleep.
Yep. And I will sit at the window and look outside and make sure that in between I put another piece of wood in the fire.
Yeah. I really love these dice. Haha. And so the next morning you wake her up. And it is time, you have you have breakfast because there is food there as well. This place is stocked and she's not going to eat it anymore.
No.
And
I also don't think she would not disapprove us taking. After we met her, she seems to be a good being. Human question mark, but being.
So let's go.
Overnight, would have Aisling, since she looked outside, would any other creatures shown up?
You did see something, and you can now roll on, intelligence.
Intelligence. Nah.
Okay. You did see something, but you have no idea what it is. You saw little... It looked like there were little dwarves carrying little green glowing torches. You didn't see the dwarves, but you did see the green glowing flames walking along the shore.
I would share with Siobhan what I've seen. Not sure if it's linked to this or if there are just other magical things here.
In a way, this place is a lot like Alba. There are weird things everywhere too.
Yeah. At least
maybe they've got gnomes.
Maybe, but it did not look it looked kind of pretty. Weird.
Yeah, the gnomes weren't ugly either. They were just small.
Well.
And they make very good ale. You said so yourself.
When we come back, we need to make sure she gets a proper burial.
Yes. I've been thinking that too.
Then let's close the door and make sure nature.
No animals get in there.
Yeah,
I agree.
So we will leave and we will close up the door to make sure animals can't get inside. To make sure also all the windows are still closed. Turn off the fire, obviously, and
you get into your boat.
Into the boat.
And you steer towards the setting sun. So the rising sun is in your back.
Yeah.
Is at your back. And sure enough, after half a day or so, you do notice that the landscape is changing. So the trees are fewer and far between. And then you really see a coast coming up of a very large island, it seems, but it's completely barren. There is no vegetation, there is nothing. It's like bare stone. Not even any earth, any dirt on it. It's stone. And it's got this sickly color, sand color of, and it also is very porous. So it's even as if somebody had poured acid over it or something. And that's the land that you're approaching.
How inviting. Makes me curious who that Gaia was.
We will find out when we get back. I'm pretty sure people will know about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a town somewhere where they have a library where I can start reading again.
That would be something, because who builds a temple on this island? That would be
Maybe it wasn't always like this.
Well, that's the main question. Maybe he made it like, although that means he's really, really, really... Well.
I think she would have mentioned this if it had been him.
Maybe something is here that took hold of him. That might also be an option.
She looks at you and she says,
not him, but something. You never know. Gods, demons, they will have them here as well.
but you're becoming really mellow. You're now thinking that maybe there was something else out there that made him like this.
Trying to find explanations to give me a reason not to chop his head off directly.
There was a time when this didn't really matter that much.
Well, a ghost asks us to remember both are her sons. Let's try to see if we can solve it in a way that she will not be unhappy. I don't want to be haunted by her. with a grin.
That would be something. Mm-hmm. You're rid of one of the worst demons in the world, and then just to end up in a different place where all of this is put behind you just to get haunted by a witch.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be just your luck, Aisling of Alba?
It would be, although I definitely prefer the witch next to Him who should not be named anymore.
Well, let's just say I'm your lucky charm.
You definitely are. And now let's try to carefully get closer and see what we can see.
You row towards the shore. And the good thing about this terrible barrenness is that you can see everything.
Yeah, that's, I think, the pro. Or depending on what we are seeing, but Aisling will keep clearly an eye out for fun creatures.
Roll Wahrnehmung, but with an advantage, so please roll twice. And she will do the same.
Thank goodness for rolling twice, because the first one was a 2. The second one is a success with a 23.
It really gives you a very good view of the whole approach, and it is barren and there is nothing there. You actually sit still and you watch for a good few minutes and you don't see any motion. There is nothing. This place is dead.
So also no birds flying in the sky.
No. Although if you didn't know better, you would say that there's a juvenile green dragon flying overhead.
Jürgen?
It's definitely Jürgen.
What are you doing here? Go, 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 go. It's not for you. We'll meet you later for a nice cup of tea at a nice place.
He makes a little somersault.
Aisling would drink a cup of tea with him. Then chop his head off, but well.
Again with the chromatism. He is green. It's not easy being
Honestly,
green.
Aisling, I think dragon generally is probably between curiosity and panic. It would be everything, so...
As you say this with the chopping off the head, Siobhan looks at you and says, "You don't know, this could be Liam's dragon."
Well, we will probably never find out. Let's move carefully.
You leave the boat.
Yeah, we would try to see if we have a way to tie it, or if not, use like the paddle to stick it in the ground to tie the boat there.
You can actually drag it onto
Drag it on
the shore
Yep.
really easily.
Okay, yeah, then we will drag it on the shore. And carefully move land inwards. Keeping eyes open for moving bone creatures or any kind of temple structure showing up.
Can you make a Wahrnehmungs check for me, please?
I can, but I will probably start rolling real dice very soon, because
Please do.
It's so insane that all my d20 rolls are just 1 digit. It's not a success.
Siobhan is successful. And she says, "Quiet. Do you hear that? Now it's gone again.
What did you hear?
It was like a rumbling noise."
Rumbling? That might be the Kaiser she was talking about. The water usually is pressed out, isn't it? Maybe that's the rumbling.
That was very loud. I mean, we can't see it, but we can hear it, so it must be super loud. This is some geezer. Let's get going.
Yeah.
She has her shield out and her sickle.
I have clearly my sword out. And we will move forward.
You move forward. And you soon come to a... So basically, it's a little bit of a climb. It's not steep, but it's basically... the island isn't very flat, so you have to climb a little. And then as you reach more or less the summit, you see that there is a mountain Well, it's not that high. It's maybe 200 meters high or something. And there is a huge cave entrance in it.
Okay.
And yeah, you can also roll a d20 and give me a Wahrnehmung, but we're gonna use real dice.
Yeah, I'm using my Makia dice because
Oh, they were really good.
they were, well, I know which ones are crappy, pretty but crappy, so I will use the other ones. There are my metal dice that I was searching for. Okay, now I have like 20 d20s out here. Let's see. See, a 16, which makes a 24. Success.
You also hear it. There is this rumbling again, but now you also feel it. So it's like a little bit like the ground shakes a little or moves a little.
Yeah.
And you're pretty sure it's coming from that cave.
So they put it. We still don't see anything that looks like a temple structure.
No. Maybe that's the temple. Maybe they, Artemis lives in that cave. We went to visit her. You spoke to her. So maybe this is where the Titan lived. Maybe that's why it's her temple. Maybe this is the temple.
Well, let's see. Let's slowly get closer. We still don't see any creatures, right?
No, you don't see anything.
We slowly move forward towards the cave.
You,
Trying to have ears open to see if we can hear anything or anyone, to be honest.
yeah, basically, you can hear it now. And you also feel as you enter the cave that it gets really warm and moist. So this is definitely the geyser chamber, as it were. And as you enter this cave, you actually see a huge fresco, mural kind of thing. And on it you see two women, larger than life. So the frescoes depict beings that are 3 meters as the fresco looks. So they're really tall in the fresco. And one of them has a very flowing gown on. The other one is wearing a tunic, and the one in the tunic has her hand raised, and in it she has a large rock. The other one, in the flowing gown, holds up her hands, and it's like she is conjuring up water from the ground, so it comes forth as a kind of like almost like a fountain, like springing from the ground. And to you it looks like they are struggling with each other.
Whispering to Siobhan. The question is, which one is Gaia? One looks more like defensive, one more like, I will get you.
If this is a temple to Gaia, then probably she's the one who's winning.
I hope so. Well, what that definitely looks like some kind of important place. Aisling would look at the floor. Is there any chance to see any traces, or is it blank rock?
It is actually a blank rock, yeah. But, and at this stage, you hear the rumbling again, and in the middle of this cave erupts this geyser.
Okay.
So now you have to make you roll on Dex.
That's No, I need to roll here. I don't have 100 out. Oh god, again the question. GS, what give we GS, right? Geschicklichkeit?
Gewandtheit in this case, because you're not using your fingers, you're trying to move your body. Oh my god.
We have a cooked Ashling. She rolled a 97.
Unfortunately, I rolled 100.
What is with Siobhan today?
That hurt.
Well, Ashling is also not far away from... But well...
No, she doesn't take a d20 damage. Okay, she basically has managed to step right into the boiling water. And she gets it right in the face. And she screams. The scream echoes from the walls. And she falls to the ground.
Well, I will try to get towards her.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure how much damage I will take, because I definitely did not get out of the way either.
You take 2 points of damage.
Okay. And...
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking what Ashling would do. I think, first of all, she would pull Siobhan more outside again. Mm-hmm. So if that thing erupts again, we are not hit. And she would probably open her canteen that she has, because the water in there is not, at least not hot compared to that, because ice is nothing we can easily have. And she would use a bit of her clothing just to rip it out, put water on, and very carefully put it on Siobhan's face. Probably on top of that would be like if you like blow then on a piece of it gets cool, so that would be her reaction to see if that gives a little bit of... She does not care too much about her own wounds, although it must hurt like hell, but she will definitely look more for Siobhan and see if that will make it more bearable.
Siobhan has lost consciousness because that was super painful.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing is she's wearing armor.
On the face and the arms, so...
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
She will be scarred for life. Her face has actually taken quite a... It's... You know that this is... She will have kind of like a welded wound on her face. This is not going to just go away again.
I also suspect her hands, because the reaction would be to put hands up.
Yeah. What do you want to do? I mean, she's lying there. She's unconscious.
I would probably carry her out of the cage. Really outside, just in case, because honestly with that scream, Ashling suspects someone will come, so she is carrying Siobhan outside and would drop her, like she would leave the cave and she would try to go a little bit around the corner to find like a little place that is a little bit hidden, but where you can still see if someone looks outside the cave. And she would first of all take care of Siobhan's wounds, as I described. She would add water and just try to keep it and cool it a little bit down. And would very carefully just wait for Siobhan to slowly get conscious again. I think in between Aisling would also have a closer look just to make sure that, like, if at least Siobhan was good enough to close her mouth and not also drink it and burn, and also have a careful look how the eyes are looking.
Okay.
Because it would be good if Siobhan can still see things, because Aisling knows how awful it is to just have one eye.
Okay, please roll a d100 for me.
We will use proper dice. I don't believe in these things. Let's see, although they are usually not nice. Is low good or high good?
Low is good.
That's a 36.
Okay, it's under her luck. So her eyes are still intact.
Okay.
She does wake up after about 20 minutes or so.
I think in between Aisling would also see that a little bit of water she will put probably also on her face or her arms, because she will have blisters as well.
Yeah, you do.
And we all know when you burn yourself, and this is the hard stuff, but it must be horrific.
And she wakes up.
Careful.
And you can see tears running down from the sides of her eye, from the corners of her eyes, because she is in so much pain.
If you cry, it will hurt more. I know that's a stupid comment. I'm trying to cool it down. Can you breathe without problems?
Yes. Yes. But I can hardly move my mouth.
Well, your skin is burned, so this will be a problem. Carefully open your eyes. I think they are good, but I'm not sure.
She opens one eye. And then the other. I can see you.
Okay, then your hands were quick enough to get in front of your eyes.
Yeah, and you can see that her palms are... This is already starting to make blisters.
Yeah, I think honestly, Aisling with her high roll is probably a similar thing. I think the only thing that her reaction was quicker to get her face at least covered, so it would be more the arms, I think, that are really hurtful. Well, we will have a nice peel for sure, and scars for sure as well. So I highly suspect we're both not the prettiest ones anymore.
I was never pretty, and you know it.
No, you have no idea how pretty you were. You are still pretty. Inside, definitely. And outside, we'll have to see how this heals.
You need to go back in there.
The question is, are you able to move? If not, I will keep you there and I will try to go in myself.
You will do no such thing.
And Aisling will smile, because if Siobhan is able to give that emotion, not everything is lost.
I just don't know how to hold my sickle. Or my shield. And what about your hands?
They will have to do. And Siobhan clearly sees that Ashling's hands are not looking. But Aisling is too stubborn. She's just simply too stubborn.
Help me sit up, please.
Yeah, I will carefully help her sit up.
Now give me your hands.
What to do.
Give me your hands.
Take care of yourself.
You know it doesn't work. Give me your hands.
Aisling will look up. Vanna, this would be the time where it would be good if you help her, not me. Please.
Give me your hands.
A little bit like a stubborn kid is, are you sure it's not working on yourself? You need it more than I do.
I've told you before, we are not encouraged to do it. I have never tried, but I know it works on you. Please, I don't want to discuss this now. We can have this conversation later. Give me your hands.
Fine. Save your strength.
This is the only thing that I can do. I can heal. You know, I'm not going to summon any ghosts in there.
Aisling will give her like the main hand, and you can do a lot more than just heal.
Both.
You know that.
Hands.
Just a second. Aisling will carefully get up, probably with as well, and she will carefully walk towards the cave entrance just to have a listen and like a peek around the corner if anyone showed up.
Mm-hmm. You hear the rumbling noise again?
Mm-hmm. Curse the gaze for sure. Stupid thing.
But you don't see anything or anyone. You just see the geyser erupt again.
She will return to Siobhan. There can't be anyone there. Your scream must have woken, sorry to say, the dead.
Or maybe
Especially
that was just what they were
the,
listening for.
But in the cave, it's even louder.
Yeah, but maybe that is the way that they keep people out. Somebody who screams like that is likely not going to go any further. And look where we are now. Please give me your hands.
Ah, she will give her the hands.
Let me just check what the difference is between these two. Ah, good.
And meanwhile, while she's sitting, Aisling will just in her mind be like, Vanna, really, your main healer, one of your bestest healer is hurt. And you're sure she can't do it on herself. You have a flaw in your idea of healer. So she's basically in her mind talking to Vanna, just like, hey you. But she will hold still and let Siobhan do her thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Aisling is not talking to gods because she had met the god and she believes that she is there. And she's a nice one. Why can't I roll that thing online?
You get 4 life points back.
Okay, I didn't even lose that much.
No, but
Yeah.
but she managed to heal everything. And what you notice is your hands, because the last time she did this on you, you felt warmth. Now you actually feel like really soft but cool water running over your palms, and it's so soothing. And you see that the palms lose the redness that they had and the rawness, and the normal flesh color comes through again, and the calluses that you have always on your hands that were basically breaking out in blisters, the blistering there is gone, and even the tightness in your fingers that you felt is completely gone. And when you make a fist, it feels like everything is the way it was. You don't see a trace.
Okay, now you show me how you do it so I can do that on you.
I will take you at your word, Aisling. I will take you at your word. You finally come round to my way of thinking. I can die happy now.
Must be a way to heal you.
There is. It's called time. Everyone uses it.
But there also needs to be, I don't know, plants. How far is like the water part from where we are? We would need to walk back, basically.
That's not far. That's maybe 20 minutes or so. Half an hour. Because now you wouldn't have to look for anything. If you wanted to, you could go straight.
We could go back towards the water. The mud is wet. That should be cooling. Maybe we can do some like packs with some.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because no one is caring if we're here or not. Okay.
That's a good thing, isn't it? Come on.
Yeah. Aisling will help Siobhan.
She needs help. She is kind of a little bit unstable on her feet. Yeah. So you walk back to the shore.
Yeah.
And there is mud there. You can put it on her hands. Yeah.
So Aisling would probably give part of her clothing just to rip it in some of the pieces, and would use the mud because it keeps the moisture a little while.
Yeah.
Just like make some packs and wraps to have it around Siobhan's skin. And see if that helps. I think that's the only thing I can come up with in a quite barren land. If there would be other plants, maybe there would be other options, but there's nothing here.
But that makes perfect sense. That is actually a really good idea.
I think that's the only cooling thing I can come up with.
And as you said, it keeps the moisture. Yeah. And it also, it also covers the skin. So yeah. And
the worst thing is if you leave it on too long, it will dry out the skin even more. So it's a little bit of a tickly thing, but at least for a bit. And Aisling is basically, hey, we can sit here at least for an hour or two and just leave it to work and calm the skin down a bit.
She basically just lies back.
Yeah. Aisling would probably exchange then in between like the wraps to just have fresh mud in and the old one back into the swamp. Also make sure Siobhan would drink some water from her canteen and maybe eat a little bit.
And that's the eating part is a little bit difficult because her skin is really tight, so moving her mouth is actually a little bit difficult. So it also when she talks, she has to really move her lips,
or rather not move them,
or rather not
very
talk.
Much. So or rather not talk, or rather mumble. So Aisling would be like if there's bread, like a little bit of the inner part, just a little bit, because you can wait that it's getting soft. Then you don't really have to chew that much, and just give Siobhan some time to regain at least a little bit of strength, composure.
So after about 2 hours, she basically says, "I think we should really try and go in there and see if we can find the boy."
Okay. Let's do a little bit of flat wraps, and you can just take them off probably when we're there, because then they dried up.
Yeah.
And then we stay outside and we see the timing of that stupid thing.
So you'll make your way back.
Yep.
And you stand in the door.
Well, we would still crouch because we never know.
Oh yeah, well, no, that's not.
Yeah.
Whichever way you want to do it. Okay.
There still might be someone on the other side that comes out.
You can roll on intelligence, please.
That's a success. 44.
Okay, so it's not a problem for you. You can actually basically count, and you wait for 3 rounds, for 3 geyser eruptions, and you can count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, and you get the rhythm. It's about, it erupts every 15 minutes.
Okay, so there's a little bit of time on
Yeah,
moving.
so once it's died down, you really have enough time to get around. So do you walk around the geyser lip?
Yes.
Okay. So
Making sure... Honestly, Aisling would make sure that she's standing between the geyser and Siobhan, just in case something goes wrong, that Siobhan is not getting the full blast of the second one. And she would not get this discussed with Siobhan.
Siobhan notices exactly what's going on. She said, "Really?
I'm not losing you to that thing. I can take 1 hit at least."
Then let's go."
Yeah. And we would probably still hurry as best as we can.
And you walk around the geyser lip, and on the other side there is actually another doorway. But you notice this one isn't a cave entrance. This has been hewn out of the rock.
Yeah.
And there is a stairwell leading down.
Then we will go down. And Aisling would definitely go first.
You go down and you see it's not far down, maybe like 10 meters or so. It's kind of like a spiral staircase, but not difficult to navigate at all.
Okay. Then we will do a few steps, stop, listen, and repeat, because we don't know what basically awaits us
Then roll
around
Wahrnehmung.
the corner. That is a 21, a success.
You hear something. You hear footsteps.
Okay, the moment I hear them, it will be like stopping motions. Do they come towards us?
You listen,
Mm-hmm.
and they come towards you. Then they stop, and they walk away again. They stop, they come back towards you. They stop, and they go away again.
So like
And
a
it's like
pace,
really
it's like
rhythmical.
a pacing.
Yeah, like somebody patrolling.
Can I hear if it sounds more like 2 feet or 4?
It's 2.
Pause. Okay. So
But you would say those are huge feet.
that's not good. Aisling would whisper, as it would get really close to Siobhan and just whisper, "Patrol, human-like beak."
And let's be quick about it.
Yeah, Aisling would try to sneak. At least she has no clunky armor like others do. And would try to get down to the stairs and first have a look on what the hell is down there, and second probably chop its head off.
Okay, then try schleichen.
Yeah, first of all, let's see. Schleichen, there we have it. It's +3.
It's not your bestest skill.
No,
What did you roll?
a 9, that's not enough.
You rolled a 12 in altogether then. didn't you? Well, the steps stop and come towards you. And you see a very tall creature, which seems to be mud. It looks like somebody made a mud figurine, like 3 meters tall, gave it life and let it walk around here.
Okay, so I know what it is, and I'm just like, would Aisling know? No, she has no freaking clue because she never stumbled. It sounds like a golem to me, although
Yeah, it is a golem.
Aisling never stumbled over even the concept of a golem.
Yeah.
Well, Aisling would go into defense position, but would have, well, try to estimate if it will attack or not.
It has definitely seen you. Because it's reacting to you.
Yeah.
Because it sees you standing there in your stance. And it takes a stance that is more, it positions itself in the middle of the corridor, blocking it.
Okay. Does it have a weapon?
No, can't see any. But it's got really big hands.
Aisling would nicely, probably not scream, but talk in a not too loud way. Please let us pass. We need to speak to your master. Just to see what happens. She's trying to be polite. She still has a sword in hand.
That was the wrong set of dice that I was rolling. Okay. It looks at you. You have a feeling that it doesn't really understand what you're saying.
Siobhan, do you want to repeat in a more proper language for here? Just to see?
She speaks in Altoquin. The being looks at Siobhan and says something very short. He wants the password.
How many tries do we get?
Make an intelligence roll.
The first one would be death that I have in mind. I highly doubt that will be it. No. Far away from success. That's an 86.
Oh dear. Siobhan says in a clear voice, Gaia. And the golem steps to the side. He's an earth golem. Gaia was the titaness of earth.
How are you so smart?
We saw the picture. She said this was the temple of Gaia. And earth and water are opposites.
Yeah. So she's the one with the rock.
She is the rock. And do you pass?
Yes. Very carefully and skeptically. But why harm a thing if it's letting us pass?
You keep going. And now you're entering a flight of rooms which are obviously living quarters of somebody who lives here, and they live a really good life. So there's a bed, there are books, there's bookcases and everything, and it looks clean, but maybe they've got a cleaning golem, who knows. And although it's under the earth, it doesn't feel stuffy or anything. It's actually quite nice. It's all hewn into the rock. The temperature is temperate. And, you know, hey, if you don't really want plants around, if this isn't important to you, then this is a nice place.
Aisling would carefully move on.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has basically 2 goals. Find the good boy and the bad boy.
Mm-hmm. Then roll on Wahrnehmung.
No.
Okay, so you keep looking, and
So there are no further rooms?
haha.
That would be no obvious room. So it's basically.
I mean,
just
there are 5 rooms, so it's big.
So we
There
can
is
look
kind of
through
like
them.
a kitchen and everything. Yeah, yeah.
Nobody there. Okay.
No, it's empty, but it's not inhabited. Definitely somebody lives here, but they're just not here.
They're not there.
However, Siobhan did roll, and she says, I'm pretty sure that's a fake wall. There's a door there.
Aisling probably from another room peeking out. What are you talking about?
There's a door there. Come, take a look.
Aisling would join Siobhan.
Maybe if you touch the wall. Because I can't. You touch the wall and you notice that it actually does feel different. So stone, and then something that feels slightly different. It's also stone, but the stone structure feels different. And when you really look closer, you can also see that there's kind of like a...
Aisling will try to push and see.
You see like the frame outline.
Yeah. Aisling will try to push and see if it moves.
You push against it, but it opens up towards you, so, you know.
Okay.
It's one of those. And behind this fake wall, is actually a metal door with a bolt. It's bolted, but it's not locked. That you can see, there's no lock.
Is the bolt from outside or?
The bolt is from outside.
So we can open.
You can open it.
I don't feel good going in there, but let's see. Aisling will open the bolt and very carefully open the door and peek inside.
This is a cell. And it's not as nice as the cell where the alleged murderess Callista Skinner is being held. And in this cell is a young boy. His clothes are torn. He's filthy. And he looks deadly afraid.
The question is he alone?
He's alone.
Okay. Carl was his name, right? Carl, is he close by? You're here too.
No. He hasn't been there.
Come on.
For a while. I can't remember the last time. You see, there is no light. I've no idea if it's night or day. I just want my mom.
Then let's get you to her. We're actually here to find you and bring her back.
But what if those things come back? They were terrible.
I know. Also, Aisling is not asking which mom he's referring to because she doesn't want to open something here. So let's get you away from him and see where the hell he is. And she will look at Siobhan. I don't like this that he's not around. It's not a good sign. He can surprise us anywhere.
I hear nothing.
Me neither. But never mind. Let's. Come on. By the way, I'm Aisling. That is Siobhan. I will bring you back to the village.
What's with her face? And he points to Siobhan. She looks terrible.
I know.
That must hurt. And she's now... It's swollen.
Yeah. Well, we had an accident with the guys outside. It's time for both of you to get out of here. Come on. Aisling will help the boy up and will close the door, everything again, as if it looks as if. Inside the cell, just to be curious, is there anything like straw or blanket or anything?
There is straw and there's a blanket.
Aisling would make like a pile, just, you know, like kids imitate in the bed that someone is lying there. She would do that in the corner, just as if someone would curled up there with a blanket over them. Just on first sight, maybe that it's not obvious that everything is empty. And then she would close everything again. And, are you thirsty or hungry? Do you need anything before we move on?
I just want my mom.
Well, for that you need to wait a little. And Aisling will give him a little smile.
He grabs Siobhan's arm. He notices that her hands may not be the point that he should touch. And she says, she's really strong. Nothing will happen to you when she's around. Let's go.
Although Siobhan is the best example of things will happen when you're around, but we will retrace our steps backwards, basically. And Aisling will be very careful also to, I don't know, have a peek in every room again, because she has... Her gut is telling something is wrong here, and she is very careful and moving backwards. Not about the guard, basically, but just that the other kid is showing up.
The golem is still standing there, and obviously that you gave him the password once means that now you're his new best friend, because he basically ignores you.
Yeah.
He lets you pass, including the boy.
Aisling would nicely say thank you.
And then you can, if you like, take the stairs upstairs and go back to the geyser chamber.
We would slowly go back the stairs upwards. Aisling would go first, with the other two close behind, but also in between. Pause, listen. Because on the stone, at least there's a chance that you can hear someone walk.
Make a listen roll.
Yes, that's a 23, so a success.
Siobhan is like, this blasted geyser, I can't hear anything. But you can, actually, between geyser eruptions here, and the only thing you really hear are your own footsteps. There is nothing there. It's completely quiet.
Where is that? Then we would go up, that we can basically see the geyser chamber again. And if no one is in the chamber, it would be again like counting, waiting for the geyser to erupt and then start walking.
You leave the chamber. And now you can make another Varnimunds roll for me, please.
I am nervous. That is not enough. That's a 19.
However, Siobhan, pain and all, swollen face rolled a natural 20.
Her
On
ears
your
are
dice.
still working.
And she says, Aisling, stop. And she crouches down immediately.
Aisling will drop and make sure the boy gets down as well.
There's somebody landing a boat. Maybe he was off the island.
just for me, we are out of the cave, or are we still
Yeah.
in the cave? Because from the cave, so we made it outside. Oh.
Yeah.
Aisling would look at Siobhan. Which direction?
Over there. And she points, so a little bit to your left. Maybe if we just keep going towards the left and then straight towards him, basically we could flank him.
Aisling is hesitating just for a second. We need to get away from him. Opposite direction. We need to get the boy out of here.
Okay. So you go right?
Yeah, so like opposite way, because it's an island, so it's a question if in the end we can circle like around the shore-ish back to our boat. The question is also, did he land near our boat?
That you didn't. It's
a bit. Okay.
You might have seen your boat. That's something that is not out of the question. Okay. That's a big no on the Schleichen. So she's not very good at it.
Well, the good thing is that we move in the opposite direction, because I'm also not good at Schleichen.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So you keep moving, but you keep down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you keep down.
And we try to move basically away from
Yeah.
them.
And yeah, so since you're moving away from him, you're losing sight of him.
Okay.
And do you walk towards the? Do you move towards the shore?
Towards the shore, and then along the shore in the direction of our boat. That would be Aisling's idea.
Okay, then give me another Schleichen.
I don't know which dice to take. Oh, rolling not. Oh, no, that's good. That's not good. No, because I only have a +3. That's an 18. That's not enough.
Yeah. So, but obviously, if he hears you, he doesn't react.
Okay.
So finally, your boat gets in. You catch sight of your boat.
Hmm.
Do you want to get in?
Yes.
Okay, you're in the boat. What do you want to do?
Rowing. At least away from the island.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can do that.
Firstly, into the direction of the island we came from.
Yeah, so
well,
you're
knowing that
rowing
we
east.
can't really go into the house, at least not before we clean up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we would go, because it should be getting later now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because half a day we took a break, so probably it's slowly dawning even. So
yeah.
Aisling's idea is to get as quick as possible towards the island where sadly the mother of the kids is.
Okay, now give me a constitution roll, because now you're getting really tired.
Yeah.
Oh
But
god.
a success, I rolled a 48.
Okay, so she's not doing well. She loses 2 points.
Yeah, with rowing, at least she doesn't have to do much. Just try to stay on the boat. I would probably even tell Siobhan and the kid to stay down, so lie down or at least crouch. That they are not as easily visible.
Mm-hmm. You finally arrive at the island.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you get out? So what are your plans now? You are at the island.
I would tell Siobhan, let's go to the house, barricade. I would go first. No, well, yes. clean
Alright.
up a little.
Yeah.
Although at least we put a blanket over, so you don't obviously see it.
Yeah. And I doubt that you left her in the middle of the room. I think
No.
you probably did move the body and put it into more of a dignified position.
Maybe we even put it on a bed in one of the bedrooms, but put
Yeah.
a blanket over it. Then we can basically get into the house.
Yeah.
So Aisling would pull the boat a little up tight, and then would make sure that we quite quickly get towards the house, but keeping eyes open if the bone thingy start moving again.
Heaps of bones now. Nothing
Yeah.
moves.
Good. You never know what they can do.
Of course, you don't. No, that's true.
And then it would be going in the house, barricading everything, telling the boy not to go into that room.
He doesn't give you any arguments. He's actually quite happy to stay where you are, the two of you.
And also telling the boy that we will use that as place to rest, because we should not travel by night to the swamp. That is something he probably knows as well, growing up around here. And then hoping that we make it through the night and that we can get back to the village tomorrow.
Okay. So I suppose you again lock all of the doors, bolt the windows, everything.
Yeah, double check everything. Starting a fire.
Yes.
Also maybe encouraging Siobhan to look through all the herbs and things like that if she thinks anything is here that could help her to feel less pain. And for the boy to give him a chance to clean up a little if he wants to. And clearly also to get a little bit of, well, there's still food in here. So. If not, Aisling would also offer to go out once more to get more mud. Or a little bit more of the mud packages.
Let's see if she can... Oh, yes. On a 23, she does find something. It's not a herb, it's actually a plant that this lady had. It's more like a cactus plant.
So aloe
when
or
you-
something like that.
Yeah, when you cut
Yeah.
it open, the milk, and she basically says, can you cut this open for me and put it on my hands, please?
Sure. So Aisling will do so, or maybe even ask the boy to help as well, because then he has at least something to do. And yeah, we'll try to make it as best as we can for Siobhan. And
She is
also
in very bad shape, and you
Yeah.
can tell that she is holding on by a thread. She's not doing well.
But Aisling would ask the boy if in the village he knows if they have a healer or something like that. Because we just briefly were in the village. We have no idea who's really living there. And he should know growing up around there.
Yeah, sure, that there is a midwife.
Maybe they can help a little.
I mean, what happened to you? You look like... I don't know. Did something really big sting you?
Yeah. You know the cave that we went through? There's like a natural water geyser pushing up regularly, and the water is steaming hot. We got too close. She could
She
heal
got hot
me.
water over her face?
Yeah.
That's terrible. I once burnt my hand. It's terrible.
Yeah, she got that in a lot. She was able to heal me, but she can't heal herself. Although maybe it's worth a try, to be honest. I don't think Vana would mind that you help yourself. Because we still need to get him safely to his mother.
Let me get some rest first.
Yes. I think Aisling would sneak out and also get a little bit of more mud, just to be safe and sound and sure, and also fresh water. I suspect you don't have a well inside the house, so
No,
that would be
but there is
somewhere
a well.
out. Yeah.
She has a well, yeah.
So Aisling would sneak outside, but make sure that the others close the door behind her, and that they only open if she's out again.
And as you return, you actually see that she hasn't collapsed, but she is lying on a bed.
Get sleep and rest, both of you. Come on.
And she is already kind of like, she's half asleep already.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, can you just feed yourself?
Yes, and we will have breakfast for you. But you, young man, you need to eat before you sleep. And Aisling would make sure that he is getting some food, maybe a warm cup of tea, in case some herbs look like tea. Aisling, she doesn't want to poison the kid.
Ooh, let's
His
take
mother
this.
would not be happy about that.
No, you
Both-
can
both
actually
mothers.
identify peppermint tea.
Yeah, something like that. And but she would regularly go to the windows, just keeping watch.
Basically, he does eat and he does drink his tea. He doesn't give you any arguments, but then he just goes to sleep. I mean, like, he's out like that.
Yeah, Aisling would cover him that he's comfy and warm. She would not do that with Siobhan because a blanket on top, that must feel horrific. So she would rather maybe, if there are the mud packs, she would maybe add more water to it in between, that it's staying wet.
Okay, so the night passes.
Mm-hmm.
You watch every so often, you see nothing. The next morning, the boy wakes up. You go to Siobhan, and you see that she's not waking up. Do you poke her?
Yeah, I would carefully. Somewhere where it would not hurt.
She does. Her eyes flutter open briefly, but you see that there is something wrong. She's got a fever.
Well, with everything that she went through, it's not that surprising. Okay, we two will get her into the boat and get to the village quickly.
Yes, but how? I mean, you certainly can't carry her. You're a girl.
Aisling will give him like the excuse me look. Well,
04. He didn't get that you were trying to intimidate him. He's really puzzling over how is a girl gonna lift another girl.
well, I doubt you know how to heal things, and I also have no idea which of these herbs will maybe lower fever.
I don't know. I just know that none of them are barley.
What is barley?
Gerste.
Well,
He comes from a farm.
Yeah, it's a farm.
He can tell his different types of cereals apart, but he doesn't know the first thing about herbs.
I think for Aisling, it's still in the back of her brain. It's like his real mother said that he has powers.
Yeah,
And
but the quest
life powers. Well, we will get her to the boat. I want you to stay close to her and let's just hope that she's not falling more. Maybe just give a little prayer that the gods will help her.
Oh, sure, I can pray. And he
Yes.
closes his eyes, like, like children, and then folds his hands in front of his chest, and he's basically just praying. Dear Mother, make sure that she gets well again. Thank you.
Aisling would give a short prayer to Vana that she looks over her daughter and then basically giving the boy snack in hand, she would fire everything out, would very carefully carry Siobhan and would lead the boy outside.
He's chewing on his snack, and as you're lifting Siobhan, he was like, "Whoa." So you basically carry Siobhan to the boat.
To the boat. I would ask the boy or to close the door at least behind him, and then we would get into the boat.
You get into the boat and you sail towards the shore where the farm is.
Yeah, as quick.
Or do you want to sail? Do you want to go further towards the
village, because
You can do that,
we know where the boat is going, and Aisling would not be too careful about being noisy. She would try to be quick.
So yes, you do arrive at the mooring place where all of the other boats are, where you were shown where they were. It's not too far away from, and by no means as far away from the village as the farm is. Let's see. There are actually some fishermen there as you arrive.
Aisling would call out already when she sees them.
Oi!
We have
Ship ahoy!
We need a healer. Quickly.
Yes, why? And does she need to come here, or can you go to her? Because she's...
Is she in the village?
Yes, of course. I mean, yes.
Then warn her that someone with a high fever is coming.
And one of them runs, and then another one was like, but that's Carl. But Carl's dead.
No, he's not, as we said.
Carl looks at you kind of like...
I think on the way, Aisling would have filled the boy in that the village thinks that he is dead because animals took him. Or they rather have the idea that maybe his stepmother tried to get rid of him. Not that she tried to. She has nothing to do.
My mom would never hurt me.
Well, we know that. Some people have a weird idea.
Where is she now?
Well, she's in jail with your aunt. But, Tilda is here and keeping her company. When you show up, everything will be fine and you can go back home.
But my mom loves me, she says so.
Well, she does. I'm quite sure about that. I think a few people have the idea that she's caring more about the farm than you, which, honestly, it's just stupid, jealous people. When you show up, we will get you both back to the farm. And a lot of people will have to apologize to your mother.
I think she likes the farm, but I think she loves me more.
She definitely loves you more. The people will learn that. Sometimes people are just sometimes a bit stupid. Don't worry too much.
She wasn't there when it happened. She was asleep and I was in my room.
I know, she told us. And if you believe her, if you do not, they will do now when we have you back. And then, as I said, a lot of people will have to do a lot of apologizing and helping her to clean up the mess they did.
Okay, so you walk towards the village with Siobhan.
Carrying Siobhan, but making sure the boy is following.
And basically, it's not too far. And you arrive, and then there are already people coming because somebody else ran ahead and said that the Carl isn't dead. How is that possible? Or, oh, Carl isn't dead. That's great. So the Bürgermeister also approaches, and he's like, Carl. And then he says, you can tell that he's torn. He wants to welcome Carl, but then on the other hand, he wants to run back to his Bürgermeister house and basically open the cell. And he's like...
The boy knows she's in there. Take him. Make sure nothing happens to him. That would be just Aisling.
He takes the boy, and then he realizes the boy is kind of short, so he picks him up and puts him on his waist to run quicker, and runs towards, like, he's really now picking up the pace. he's not as mellow as he was, so he's now stressing. And then
because Aisling doesn't have worried, he will take care of the boy. She's totally fine because he was behaving very proper also towards.
And then the fisherman comes back, the one that ran, and he said, "Well, you have to come this way. You have to come this way." And he
Aisling will follow, and she will be as quick as she can without hurting Siobhan. And she will talk to Siobhan, like, "Hang in there. We will get you to a healer, and we will get rid of the stupid fever, and then Vana maybe can help because it would be time now. I know we're asking for help a lot, but really."
Can you please get a move on, woman?
Yeah, no, it would be also good if your healers could heal themselves. Really, really practical. Like, say a little prayer and I'm feeling better. But no, she would focus on clearly getting Siobhan in one piece there without hurting even more. But being as quick as she can. And then hoping that the healer knows what she's doing. That would be the interesting part.
The healer is a woman in her 30s. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Come in. What happened to her?"
A lot of hot water, and now she has a fever. I don't think she is taking her wounds too well. We just tried to cool them.
Put her down.
Aisling will very carefully put her down.
Okay, now give me some room. And she muscles between you and Siobhan.
Aisling will step back, but she will not leave the room.
Have you nothing else to do?
No. Do you need anything? Should I bring anything?
Can I just ask you to sit down over there? You're making me nervous, hovering.
Aisling will sit down in the corner over there, but she will definitely not leave her friend's side.
And basically the woman gets to work and she says, "Well, she has a really high fever. That's not good."
It started overnight.
Yeah, with these wounds, that's not really a surprise. She basically rummages through her stuff. Mm-hmm. And then she says, "See that jug over there?" Pointing.
Aisling will get up and grab the jug and bring it to her.
No, go outside, get me some fresh water from the well, please.
Then Aisling will run.
You run.
Do so.
There is a well. It's a village well. You fill the jug with water, you run back.
Yeah. And for the water while she's filling, it would be another prayer to Vana. And then going
You're
back.
really praying hard.
Aisling is really scared. Because being stuck here without her friend would be the biggest nightmare on earth.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you run back, you hand over the jug, and then...
Also,
do you sit down again?
Helpless. Yeah, she will sit down again. Because she doesn't know what to do. She will just... She only can sit, wait, and pray. There's nothing else. She has no idea how to heal.
Can you roll a d20 for me, please?
Oh god, let's just use that. That's a 14.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You watch what's going on.
The question is, let me see, I've mentioned this.
Mm-hmm, you do.
I have no idea. The idea was what my gut feeling is with that lady. Mm-hmm. If she knows what she's doing or making it worse. But
so you're watching. You're watching.
Yeah, I'm watching.
And then you suddenly... It's more like a feeling, but it's also like words. And you just hear, "Have faith."
She will still sit, wait, and watch, but probably be a bit calmer now. I think before she was probably like, "Why I need to do anything? There must be a way to help," and she will calm down. She will still sit. She will not leave Siobhan's side, but she will be calmer, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And we shall leave it here, and we shall see in 2 weeks' time what's happening.
girl.
Which one?
Definitely Siobhan. She was
Well-
the pretty one.
That's what happens when you play
You
and you
fail.
roll up. I mean, you ended up losing an eye because we rolled a 100 on something
Yeah, that's
as
true,
well.
that's
so
true.
it's just, I mean, it would be really weird if she stepped into a geezer with a 100 and nothing happens.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. I'm
Um,
glad she's at least until now alive. Hopefully kind of alive afterwards as well.
So, thank you very much for telling the story.
Well, I think the story is not done yet because now
No.
we have
The
boy,
story isn't done yet. But for
we
keeping
will
telling the
have
story,
to return to talk to the brother about behavior.
we thank you all for listening, for supporting us, for watching, and for your many comments, which we really enjoy reading. And we wish you all a pleasant day, night, evening, whenever you're listening, watching, and keep safe and keep gaming. Bye.
Bye.
O hi mina morviena, o hi mina korviena, o hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren fojo, hi mi gondalan taches and trukuk mi, kerer oram falches a chan en a hukas mi, jev mi an eigus gran rukim, nach rech ging tunich en or. O hi mina morviena, o hi mina korviena, o hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren fuicho.